Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the introduction. I am Isozaki of Kirin Holdings. I'd like to thank you for your patronage of the Kirin products, as well as your understanding of our corporate activities. Welcome to Kirin Investors Day. We would like to share with you today strategies of each of our businesses, as well as corporate functional strategies. Before we do so, however, I would like to report to you on the progress of KV 2027, our long-term managerial vision. This year in February, we announced a 3-year midterm business plan between 2022 and 24, which represents the second stage of our KV 2027. As we look back on the year 2020, we saw explosion of the pandemic of COVID-19. We also witnessed abnormal weather and climate crisis. These have largely shaken the foundation of the social systems over the past 3 years, especially with the infectious disease risks. The awareness on the part of the consumers changed largely. Kirin Group has been able to minimize the impact of COVID-19, and we faced head-on with new social challenges. As a result, we've confirmed that KV 2027 is well aligned with the future. COVID-19 has accelerated the changes originally expected in 10 years to shorter period of time, and our midterm business plan reflects that now. In midterm business plan to 2022, we will shift to a new growth track where we solidify our narratives for the growth in KV 2027. In these 3 years, we would like to achieve 3 things. Number 1, expanding profit in food and beverages, our cash cow. Second, expansion of the scale in health science domain. And number 3, the strengthening of the foundation in the global specialty pharma domain. Of course, we have to focus on the corporate governance in order to ensure healthy growth in each of those businesses in different domains. Now we are at the end of the first half of the year, and we are implementing our strategies to attain our midterm plans. COVID-19 impact is still lingering. And now we have the situation in Ukraine, both of them making our businesses much more difficult than expected. However, for material cost and fuel cost rises, we revisited our cost structures and decided on the price change on liquor and beverage businesses to improve our profitability. And withdrawal from Myanmar is very close to an agreement with our joint venture partner. As for the sell-off of China Resources Kirin Beverage, we are making a solid progress. We are ready for the next growth track to promote the midterm business plan. We will grow in food and beverages, and we will expand our domains in health sciences to have a solid growth track going forward. Today, at this Investors Day, I hope we will be able to share with you and convince you how we are ready to grow further. Today we have 4 programs. First of all, evolution of marketing within the group and transformation of Lion, followed by North America craft strategy. Number 3, midterm business strategy of Kirin Brewery, and then progress of health science domain, as well as the strategy update. As for the expansion and evolution of marketing, Yamagata-san will talk to you, who has been the Kirin Brewery's marketing director last year. He has experienced marketing at Procter & Gamble and joined Kirin to transform Kirin's marketing. Today, not only Kirin breweries and beverages businesses, he will talk to you as the corporate executive officer responsible for marketing for the entire group. Now, in terms of transformation at Lion, you will meet Anuba, the chief marketing officer of Lion. Anuba worked with Coca-Cola and Mars, both in marketing, and last year joined Lion. Since then, she has been busy making transformation in Lion's marketing. In terms of the craft strategy in North America, today we have a pleasure of introducing to you Steve, the CEO of New Belgium Brewing. Steve learned business management at a consulting firm and then joined Beam Global before succeeding the current post from Kim Jordan, the founder of New Belgium Brewing. He will also share some information about Bell's Brewery. As for Kirin Brewery, our new president, Horiguchi-san, will address you. He joined Kirin Beer and then became president of Four Roses and Koiwai Dairy Products. And since assuming the current post, he has been able to improve profitability of the company. He will share his views on mid to long-term vision of Kirin Brewing. Health science domain is now being led by Minamikata-san. After joining Kirin Beer, he served as a Myanmar Brewery's president, and up until last year, he was the president of Kyowa Kobayo. Today, he will share with you the progress of this domain as well as the update of this strategy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I make sure that I promote CSV management without sitting back all the time. In order to be the CSV leader in the world, we should not lose focus on our customers and provide value which only we can provide. Our existing businesses address social challenges, and we also create new value, especially in health science domain. We are about to discover new growth opportunities. Kirin Group has strengths to address unmet needs of the world. I hope today's event will help our investors to further deepen their understanding in Kirin Group. Now, I declare open Kirin Investor Day.
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to talk about the further evolution of marketing in Kirin Group and alliance transformation. I will explain about the first topic, and Anuba will explain about the second topic. Now, last year, I spoke about the customer-centric marketing. For the past several years, we have promoted customer-centric marketing, centering around operating companies, and we have achieved a certain level of success and evolution. On the other hand, however, from the group-wide perspectives, there are some inconsistencies among companies, and we believe that there are some opportunities for further improvement. Specifically, we see opportunities, as you can see on this slide. There are 4 items that we can get some opportunities. First, I believe that there is an opportunity to raise the ability to understand customers and consumers, which is the foundation of CSV management, to an even higher level throughout the group. And secondly, to grow in new business areas as we expand portfolio. we need new marketing capabilities. So the second opportunity is to rapidly create and strengthen this missing capability. And the third point is the development and utilization of human capital from group perspectives. We believe that opportunities lie not only in optimizing each company's individually, but in promptly and strategically developing, allocating, and utilizing human capital with a view on the future. And finally, each company has its own unique challenges. We believe that there are opportunities to support the resolution of these issues and to create collaboration and synergy across operating companies rather than within individual companies. I think we have opportunity to create synergy in that respect. So based upon these opportunities, we will continue to create new consumers and sustainable growth in an environment of increasing uncertainty and complexity. We will strengthen our marketing central function. By so doing, I think we can enhance our consumer-centric marketing capabilities. In addition, we promptly make decisions in terms of HR and capabilities to take action upon such decisions in response to changes we face so that we can promote transformation. So as a specific example of strengthening the central function, we have newly established the marketing central team, which is responsible for CMO office function. The mission of the team is threefold. As mentioned earlier, the opportunities for further growth of the company section. And then a team will be responsible for supporting the growth of operating companies and developing new marketing capabilities and developing and utilization of human capital. So what they do is to assume a cross-functional role and enter the business to reinforce growth and collaboration of operating companies, and lead the acceleration of capability improvement, which is currently necessary but missing, and the further strengthening and utilization of human capital development across the group, thereby increasing the speed of execution. Now, I would like to speak more specifics. First, we would like to talk about reinforcing growth and collaboration of operating companies. We believe that the marketing cross-function will enable us to do this. Firstly, quickly share the knowledge and strengthen lacking capabilities in each operating company. Secondly, contribute to consistent marketing strategy seen from the customers. Of course, the consistency itself is not what we are trying to achieve, but the consistency brings value. That's why we focus. And also the synergy beyond our group company, I think will be accelerated by having cross-function roles like this. So we would therefore collaborate and create synergy across operating companies, which doesn't occur very easily. So let me talk about each of our business, the health science business. On the left, this is a from situation, meaning that the health science business is carried out by Health Science Department, Kirin, Beverage, Koiwai, and others. They each individually optimize their customer marketing activities. And in that context, a central team will offer a cross-functional role to improve the consistency of marketing strategies and the linkage of activities of each group companies. We believe this will create synergies as the efforts of the group companies will be seen as united by consumers, resulting in increased awareness and understanding. We will strengthen our collaboration to make the strength of each company into the strength of the group as a whole. And this should help us gain new consumers and customers because we will be able to communicate the values of our products. Now, next, also this is another example at the health science business. We believe that the capability and expertise we have cultivated in the business to date are still insufficient. We need to strengthen the expertise we should have in this new business. We have formed and started a new marketing team, which consists of not only marketing staff gathered from across the company, but also external experts with a strong expertise in specialized area. And we would have vertical and horizontal cross-functional activities so that we can enhance our marketing activities. There are three things, as you can see. We are doing a formulation of marketing strategies and action plans and quickly enhance the organizational capabilities necessary for success in our new business domain and to implement them. So this is an example of Lion. Anuba will explain more in part 2, Lion's marketing and transformation, later in this presentation. But this is mainly an initiative of Kirin Brewery. We are introducing the 4 moments, the consumer-driven execution, as well as our OI verification system for individual brands in the future. So under the leadership of the central team, we think we can quickly enhance our organizational capabilities for brand development and brand management while utilizing the best knowledge that exists within the company. So by enhancing the functions of a cross-functional role, I think we should be able to help support growth. Now, let's talk about the HR. Now, about the capability, these 2 points, the top priority is to strengthen our ability to understand our consumers, as this is the foundation of CVS management in order to enhance consumer-centric marketing capabilities. The second point is to create marketing capabilities based on the business portfolio. We would like to have a acceleration in doing this. And we want to do so not company by company optimization, but the group-wide optimization. We would like to accelerate the growth of human capital. Now, this is one example of a capability. This is to understand the customer better. We do have knowledge. So utilizing that, we would like to understand our consumers better. And that's the idea. We would like to look at what is happening and also to search for what is missing. So if anything working better can be deployed horizontally, that should be also good for our company. And also, second is to further deepen our understanding of customers. Of course, different companies may face different difficulties, but we want to extract the problems, and also we want to do introduction and dissemination of the new mechanism and embed them through repeated training. So that sort of activity is something that we want to do in order to enhance our capabilities so that our capability can be a compelling strength of Kirin Group. Now, this new capabilities, there will be many changes in the future, and I think new capabilities will play a quite important role. In particular, we will place a high priority on the health science field, and we will create the capabilities needed for the future in Kirin's way, while incorporating the knowledge of outside specialists. And lastly, I want to talk about the introduction of group-wide training program. We have introduced various group-wide training program, and we want to do so in the future as well. As you can see on the left, major programs are developed and implemented in-house. And we will become trainers ourselves and sustainably evolve our human capital development capabilities as leaders. We consider it an extremely important mission to create a culture of human development throughout the group. Recently, there has been much discussion about the importance of human capital. We believe that this is our human capital so the human capital is the source of our business value. So we will strengthen our human resource capability enhancement in that idea as a view. And while we conduct internal training, it's also very important to consider tapping external talents to gain speed and respond to changes. So in that sense, we are quite active in mid-career recruitment. And currently, more than 30% of the key positions in the Kirin Group's marketing organizations are filled by mid-career hires. To develop marketing, basic approach of Kirin remains unchanged, but we want to add to our capabilities by bringing in knowledge and skills from outside. I think this is quite a good way to do so. So we will continue evolving marketing while leveraging diversity and including the power of inclusion, so that mid-career hires can also play an active role in our organization. So how is it possible to rapidly leverage human capital and strengthen the human capital base? Over the past several years, we have standardized our management system and human capital development system throughout the group. The solid foundation of our organization capabilities have enabled early development of high-quality human capital and immediate contribution of mid-career hires after they joined the company. So we will continue to develop human capital, both fresh from college and mid-career hires, so that they can play an active role in the company. Now, to summarize my part, by building a marketing central team, we will reinforce growth and collaboration of operating companies, accelerate marketing capabilities improvement, further strengthen human capital development across the group, to continue to enhance our consumer-centric marketing capabilities and execution level, which are the source of innovation to increase our brand and corporate value. So consumer-centric marketing capability is indeed the source of innovation. And if we do a good job in terms of growing this, I think we can enhance our brand. So that is what I wanted to deliver to you today. So we would like to move on to the second part, as I said. And so will be presented by Anuba, but let me use one last slide to explain to you. The marketing team of Kirin and Lion has been working together to transform Lion's marketing. The marketing team will be responsible for strategic communication, knowledge sharing, including system implementation, and from July next month, human capital support at practical stage will be beginning to accelerate the speed of reform. These are carried out while improved and updated for the transformation of the marketing on a continuous basis. So this is being done by Lion, so I would like to hand over to Anuba. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I am going to talk to you about three parts of the Lion transformation. The first is to give you context on the Australian market, the consumer, and our brands. The second part is on our transformation progress. And lastly, I want to give you an update on our strategic priorities and some early signals of that transformation. So firstly, the Australian liquor market. First of all, beer continues to represent over a third of our dollar value sales in the overall market. However, if you look at where the growth is coming from, whilst beer will continue to contribute 20% of growth, you can see strong growth, especially in ready to drink, as well as premium spirits. So if we go to the next slide, please. If we take the lens of post-COVID recovery, what we are expecting is strong growth, especially in craft beer, and I'll talk more about that later. We're also seeing positive growth in low alcohol and zero alcohol beer offerings. And of course, we're seeing explosive growth in ready to drink as well. This is all very important as we talk about where our future growth opportunities lie. It is vitally important that, as Yamagata-san mentioned, we really deeply understand our consumers and where they are going to inform our strategic priorities. Firstly, the Australian consumer has never been more diverse in terms of a population that has many, many different cultural understandings and therefore changing consumer needs within the alcohol category. Second, in a post-COVID world, we're seeing an increasing trend to at-home consumption, which is going to inform a lot of our channel and innovation priorities. We see the trend of health and wellness and moderation continuing to grow, which presents really strong opportunities for Lion for future growth. We're also seeing the Gen-Zennial connection. What do we mean by that? The under 35 age group is very important for future brand recruitment. And you will see later some of the plans to ensure we capture that very important segment. And finally, we see a very strong trend towards local preference, as well as more sustainable options, which creates a strong need for us to be delivering better quality in a sustainable way that's highly locally relevant. Next slide, please. This leads me to where our brands are currently positioned, and hence the urgency of the transformation that we are undertaking in partnership with Kirin. If you look on the right-hand side, you'll see that a lot of our large-scale brands need to have a much stronger brand power in the future marketplace in order to realize these opportunities. And I'm going to talk to you about how we are and will continue to power those brands for future growth. Our vision at Lion, which is very consistent with what you heard Yamagata-san talk about, is to be world-class, is to be highly consumer-centric, and to create meaningful brands that deliver on value creation for our consumer, our customer, and our people at Lion. Whilst we are a challenger in the Australian marketplace, we will re-establish thought leadership and create opportunities for us to grow stronger and faster than our competition in future growth areas. Next slide, please. What does that mean in terms of our outlook, in terms of our midterm financial targets? As you will go on to see, we have a very solid organic growth plan that talks to the changing consumer needs of better for you, premiumization, and later you'll hear from Steve about our plans for US craft growth. That means that we intend to grow strongly our top line in terms of net sales by better delivering on those needs than we have previously, but also, importantly, ensuring that our margin delivery at the profit level is healthy and accretive. Next slide, please. How are we going to do that? The transformation has already begun, And last year, we laid the foundations to create the confidence in our midterm business plan. That meant partnership with Kirin on the capabilities required to create the fuel and growth. It meant a restructure of our marketing function to be oriented towards value creation, consumer centricity, and future growth. And more importantly, we have approached it differently in terms of cross-functional collaboration with our demand and sales teams. So in 2022 and beyond, the plan is about executing the strategy and ensuring we are future ready to capitalize on the growth opportunities. Next slide, please. We have 3 key points of difference that we have been building to create this transformation. The first is strategic focus, precise clarity around where to invest and how to invest to unlock growth. The second area is around end-to-end consumer experience delivery through the line together with sales, marketing, and commercial. And third, an obsessive mindset around a brand owner approach to have accountability from the top of the P&L all the way to the bottom to drive those results. Next slide, please. I'm going to talk to you about all 3 of those transformational areas, starting with strategic focus. We have 4 key strategies to deliver our future growth. The first and foundational one is revitalizing our mainstream beer category. And I'm going to talk to you about the early signs around Forex, our largest brands, green shoots of that transformation. Second, we're going to deliver strong growth in better for you choices. And we are well positioned with the #1 brand of Hahn in better for you and a leading position in our zero alcohol portfolio. Our third priority is around premiumization and acceleration of craft. And we have the leading position and brands in this fast growing space, which gives us a lot of credibility and confidence to continue to accelerate that. And last but not least is the acceleration of the ready to drink space, especially in the areas of seltzers, where our White Claw brand is the leading seltzer player, and the ginger beer from James Squire is also a leading player, which sets us up again for further acceleration. Next slide, please. Yamagata mentioned the importance of the 4 moments and having a relentless focus on the consumer journey and experience. And at Lion, we have invested deeply in new capabilities, in people, in technology, and in data to ensure that we not only understand the consumer, but we can reach and engage with them in a multi-dimensional way, which is, again, early signs producing some strong signals of equity strengthening in our key brands by this approach. We have a lot of new investments in first-party data that is giving us unique and differentiated insights into the consumer's passion points and their consumption moments, allowing us to connect from reaching them to conversion in our stores with our customers. Next slide, please. From a channel lens, being able to connect what our consumers want to drink and where they drink has been the work we have undertaken with our sales partners. COVID has created new opportunities for us in channel and also presented new challenges that we are leaning into. So as consumer dynamics have shifted, we can see that our innovation pipeline and portfolio offering needs to adjust to those shifts in terms of off-premise versus on-premise and new occasions that is creating value opportunities for our breadth of portfolio. At the same time, we have built very strong capability in revenue growth management in order to unlock value through a segmented and differentiated channel and customer approach. It is early days, but good signs of how that is going to be a key point of difference for us in the future. And of course, the efficiency of how we manage our trade, how we select our customer partners in order to jointly create value is also a strong focus for our demand teams to ensure we future-proof our channel mix, protect our profitability, and create shared value. Next slide, please. The brand owner approach. The transparency for the brand management group of the full P&L and the ownership of that from both top-line demand generation through to efficiency and value creation has been well embedded for the last 12 months, which is creating a very strong ownership mentality of results and accountability. Next slide, please. So with all of those capabilities and new structure to capture consumer opportunities, how are we performing? So for mainstream beer and Forex, our largest brand, we have started to see some very positive early signs of that transformation. We've restaged the brand very recently, and we are seeing gains in share, in volume, and critically in brand equity, which is at the heart of creating long-term value in this critical brand. So we have a whole new set of end-to-end communication, innovation that is coming, and we are rebuilding belief and credibility with our most important customers for this vital brand to revitalize our overall mainstream offering. Next slide, please. I mentioned the better for you space is something we are very keen to extend our leadership in. We recently, last month, launched Forex Zero, which is not only better for you, but is also carbon neutral, which means we are placing great importance on our sustainability efforts for both consumers and communities. And we will be restaging our Hahn brand in October this year, which is our third largest brand and the leading low carb, better for you proposition. So we expect a continued acceleration of that brand's positive growth. Next slide, please. As the leading craft player in Australia, we will continue to drive premiumization and accelerate our growth. And with both Little Creatures, our existing brand, and our newly acquired fermentum and stone and wood business, we continue to see very rapid, strong growth in both brands as we integrate the businesses and deliver on the fast-growing needs of the Australian craft consumer. So very healthy early signs there. And in our ready-to-drink business, we continue to see very strong share gains and very strong year-on-year growth from both these areas of the business. And we will continue to rapidly innovate. And coming up this summer, we have new innovation for both White Claw as well as our James Squire ginger beer offerings, which is going to continue to drive momentum in these critical future growth spaces. Next slide, please. So in summary, we are obsessively focused on executing against our consumer-led strategy. And we have the right capabilities and the right partners in place to do so. We're seeing early signs of positive progress in our key mainstream category, led by Forex, our largest brand. We are very well poised to continue to lead the better for you area within the category. We continue to lead the acceleration of the Australian craft market with both Little Creatures and Stone and Wood progress. And last but not least, we will continue to lead the evolution and acceleration of ready to drink with our propositions of White Claw and James Squire ginger beer. So we are feeling quietly confident, and we have positive early signals for the transformation at Lion. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for having me present today. I'm joining you from my home in Fort Collins, Colorado, the headquarters for New Belgium, and I'm excited to share with you today the story of the great U.S. craft business that we're building in the United States. Today, I plan to cover 4 topics with you. I will also allow some time at the end for questions. First, I will go through an introduction to the overall U.S. craft beer platform in the U.S. I will then talk about the U.S. beverage alcohol market. I'll provide some highlights from the strategy to develop the U.S. craft platform here. And then lastly, I'll talk about our plan to further create value with this platform in the United States. Next slide, please. As background, as I was introduced, I'm Steve Fetchheimer, the CEO here for New Belgium Brewing, which is the name we use for the entire US craft beer platform in the United States. I've been with New Belgium for nearly 5 years. And prior to that, I spent 8 years working in the spirits industry, all of them with the company that is now known as Beam Suntory. Before that, I was a consultant, most recently with the Boston Consulting Group, and focused a significant amount of my time in the consumer products area, both in the United States and globally. Next slide, please. Kirin's US craft platform started in 2019 with the acquisition of New Belgium by Lion. New Belgium was founded in 1991 by Kim Jordan and her then husband, Jeff Liebisch. While we started as a US brewery focused on making Belgian beers, inspired by Jeff's learnings on a trip to Belgium, it was our culture, our creativity, the way we treated our people, our communities, and the environment that have been the drivers of our growth over time. In addition, of course, to making great beers and having great marketing of our brands. Our platform now includes Bell's Brewery, based in Michigan. And while the New Belgium beers and the Bell's beers are different, our brands very much grew out of the same belief in how we should treat customers and communities and our environment. Next slide, please. Before Kim and Jeff started New Belgium, they went on a hike in Rocky Mountain National Park near our hometown of Fort Collins, Colorado. At that time, they set out to do 4 things with this new business that they were starting. Today, we call those 4 things core values and beliefs. And while they've changed slightly over the years, these remain a very important part of what drives the success of New Belgium. The first thing we do is we make world-class beer for everyone. And that's audacious for a brewery of our size to focus on being world-class, but that's exactly what we set out to do every day. The second thing that we focus on is doing right by people. Coworkers are the heart of where our focus is there. We're also very focused on our communities as well. The third thing that we focus on is inspiring social and environmental change. That's been most recently demonstrated by Fat Tire being the first certified carbon neutral beer in the US. And then the last thing we focus on is having a lot of fun. It's an important part of our culture here, an important part of attracting and retaining great talent at this platform. Next slide, please. Part of what made joining Lion and Kirin attractive is that we share many of the same CSV objectives. New Belgium has been a longstanding member of the B Corp community, and our 2030 climate goals are now designed to match those commitments that Kirin has previously made. We are proud to be leading work in this space here in the United States and proud to be partnering with Lion and with Kirin in driving this change. Next slide, please. All of this great work gets done by an experienced executive team. I'm fortunate to have a long tenured team who is excellent in each of their respective disciplines. While many of these leaders have been with me at New Belgium for my 5 years here, I'm also happy to have brought Carrie Juncker and John Mallett from Bell's into our integrated leadership team. Kim Jordan, one of our co-founders, is no longer involved in the day-to-day of the business, but remains an important resource for me and for our team. Next slide, please. We will now move on to talk a bit about the US market. Next slide, please. Thank you. The US beverage alcohol market remains the second largest in the world, behind only China in terms of volume. And the US continues to have attractive gross margins in both volume and dollar growth, making it a logical market for continued investment. Next slide, please. In the beer market, we can see New Belgium, which is depicted in the red line on this chart, has consistently outperformed the market in data we receive from Nielsen for off-premise dollar sales since early 2019. While the market spiked, as you can see on this chart, in early 2020, driven by COVID shifts in buying behaviors, and that same market is now somewhat depressed as the on-premise slowly reopens, New Belgium has consistently outperformed in all market scenarios by 10 to 15 points since early 2019, when we shifted our primary focus to the Voodoo Ranger brand. Next slide, please. Looking forward, while the market has bounced around due to COVID, we see 2 to 3% volume growth likely for the market in the coming years, with the market getting back to 2019 volume levels by 2024. Next slide, please. Thank you. So with that market context, I will change and talk about the US craft strategy and how this platform has developed. So next slide, please. Kirin and Lion had a clear goal to build a highly profitable business in the US craft beer market. Acquiring New Belgium in 2019 was step one, as that secured a national platform, which would be key to further scale and acquisitions. Then, this recent January, Bell's joined and further grew the platform as outlined here in step two, making us effectively the largest craft brewery in the country. We are now focusing on step three, driving organic growth across the portfolio from our core brands and through further innovation. Next slide, please. We are confident in our ability to deliver on organic growth in step 3 through the strength of the platform and the brands we have. Notably, we have 3 major breweries, 2 from New Belgium and 1 from Bell's, and nearly 1,300 dedicated employees. IPA is the largest category of craft beer in America, and we have the largest IPA brand in America with Voodoo Ranger. We also have a strong second brand in IPA with Two Hearted from Bell's. Two Hearted has been voted the best beer in America for 4 consecutive years. Pro forma revenue for the combined business exceeds $400 million for 2022. Next slide, please. Further, the foundations of this platform give us confidence that we have a high ability to win. As I mentioned, expertise in sales, marketing, procurement, operations, and finance. We have a structure that can scale via organic growth and through future M&A. And we have a national distribution footprint with great relationships with key customers and key distributors. In short, we feel we have the foundation to drive this business much further. Next slide, please. These acquisitions and the management team results in an aspirational plan to grow sales at an 8% compound annual growth rate while improving our net operating profit margins by 5 to 7 points between now and 2027. Growth like this would drive tremendous shareholder value. Next slide, please. We'll now move to talk about how we want to create further value with the US Craft platform. At New Belgium, we are focused on 4 priorities. The first is maximizing the potential of our core portfolio. This includes continuing to increase marketing investment to drive growth behind winning brands like Voodoo Ranger, Fat Tire, Two Hearted, and Oberon. And we will continue to invest in what's next with the goal of organic development of other large and material brands in our portfolio. Third, we will continue to ensure world-class operations. And of course, that means making world-class beer and doing so at the right cost, but also means pricing our brands correctly, supporting our business with the right IT, with the right consumer and market insights, and the other support needed for our sales and marketing teams to be successful. And then finally, we will continue to grow the good in our people and in our business, focusing on talent development, retention, diversity, equity, and inclusion work, and livable wages, among many CSV priorities that we have. Next slide, please. Going a bit deeper on maximizing our core portfolio, we have a clear vision to combine 2 iconic breweries in New Belgium and Bell's to be the #1 craft supplier. We believe we have a complementary portfolio of brands to deliver on this objective and unlock long-term growth. Next slide, please. These brands are relevant to many different consumers in the US. Two Hearted is mostly for dedicated craft enthusiasts who really know the quality of the beer that we make at Bell's every single day. While Voodoo Ranger is recruiting new consumers in the craft with a fun, differentiated positioning. Oberon and Fat Tire are for craft fans, although not always for dedicated craft enthusiasts. And innovation trials like Fruit Smash are designed to find a way to win in the growing beyond beer category here in the US. Next slide, please. In terms of our focus on world-class operations, we have taken a best of both approach as we have integrated Bell's and New Belgium. As I mentioned before, we have 3 major brewing facilities producing world-class beer. And from an operating structure standpoint, immediately upon acquiring Bell's, we established 1 integrated leadership team that I introduced you to earlier in this presentation. We've also integrated our commercial support functions like our sales team, as well as other operations and support functions like finance and HR. However, very intentionally, we have left the brand level functions separate and dedicated to each brewery and to each of those sets of brands, although all of our marketing efforts roll up to our Chief Marketing Officer, Sean Belangi. This decision with marketing allows us to have a best of both across everything we do, while also keeping the brand's unique heritages tied to their local breweries and markets and customers. So next slide, please. So in summary, there are certainly some market headwinds in the US around inflation and our return from COVID behaviors. However, we are confident the US beverage alcohol market remains large and growing and profitable, and therefore attractive for investment. Our US craft business and platform here is doing well and keeping very strong momentum in the marketplace, and we believe there is a lot of room for continued growth. And we will focus on creating value through maximizing our core portfolio potential and our Beyond Craft innovations. So on the final slide, thank you for having me today. I'm going to turn it over to questions, and I'm excited to have had the opportunity to present to all of you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am Horiuchi from Kirin Brewery Company Limited. Thank you for your patronage of Kirin Brewery products and your understanding and support of our corporate activities. Today, I would like to explain Kirin's medium to long-term strategy. As you can see, this is our 2022 mid-term business plan overall picture. As you can see, our theme is refine the brand and people and achieve results. We will continue to focus on achieving results through the multiplication of 3 strategic pillars and our mindset, meaning our big direction won't change. So we want to focus on delivering results. Since it is the organization and its employee that realize our strategy, we will foster mindset to enhance employee job satisfaction and align their vector, improve organizational capabilities, and strengthen human resource development. Now, as you see, these are the trunks of for the midterm business plan, and there are 3 of them. Today, I would like to talk about this colored area. There are 3 of them here. The first is building a strong brand portfolio. And secondly, a new C's for the future growth engines. I will explain craft beer and B2C business. I would like to talk about the growth of these areas. And on the right-hand side, you see uncolored area, domestic spirit brands. It also has high growth potential, both in domestic and foreign markets. So we position this to be an important category as well. And the profit structure reform include the establishment of optimal SCM system. So that's something also I would like to mention in my presentation. So the 3 focus area. Before I talk about the focus area, I want to talk about the fact that the total market for beer and RTDs that is expected to remain flat to decline slightly towards 2027. So that's the overall market. The beer is expected to be a smaller part than previous forecast due to COVID-19. That's another forecast that we have. Major reasons being the shrinkage of on-premise market beyond expectations. And somewhat relates to that is that smaller scale of shift to off-premise or home use. And because of the health-conscious consumers, we see solid sales of Haposhu. So those are the factors that we use to make forecast for the total market for beer and RTD. Now, please note, however, that these forecasts do not take into account a possible impact of price hike due in fall of 2022. And also we see in the external market or environment, the opportunities and risks in the drastically changing environment. As in particular, the sharp rise in energy, raw material, and the logistic cost since the outbreak of the Ukraine situation is the risk that we'll have to pay close attention to in the future. This will be a major item that we need to keep our eyes on. And also, we see opportunities in this changing lifestyle and preferences of our consumers brought about by COVID-19, and a change in purchasing behavior due to the unification of liquor tax on other beer by 2026 will be a major opportunity. Now, moving on to the marketing investment when it comes to deepening and exploration of it. In terms of marketing investment, we will continue to improve the efficiency of investment in existing brands, which we have been doing so for some time now. On the other hand, however, we will step up investments to expand growth engines that will support our future growth. We will also reduce our investment in home tap this year as planned from the beginning of the year in order to verify the effectiveness and improve the quality of the model. But from 2023 onward, we will strengthen our investment in new market developments. So the total amount as a whole may increase from 2023 and 2024, but reduced marketing investment as a percentage to sales revenue will decline. And now I would also like to talk about the medium to long-term business profit trend and the future profit growth driver. Although OP margin has temporarily declined due to COVID-19, as you can see from this slide, we will continue to challenge to achieve the target of 25% in normalized OP margin by 2027 without any change. And also, we believe that it will be difficult to achieve continuous profit growth in existing business that has flat volume growth in the mid to long term. But on the other hand, we will achieve profit growth with new growth engines. We expect that increase in profit from this price hike will basically be offset by the cost increase due to soaring raw materials and logistic costs, although this will depend on the future conditions, but that's how we run our simulation. Now, I would now talk about priority items that I mentioned earlier. There are three of them. The first is building a strong brand portfolio. Now, product portfolio after liquor tax revision. As you all know, the liquor tax will be unified through 2 rounds of liquor tax reform through 2026. As a result, we assume that the category will be restructured by price range, as we saw what happened in the overseas market. We do not know if the market will actually be like this in the future, but we will continue to nurture our brands in order to build a stronger brand portfolio that can cope with uncertain situations. Now, about Ichiban Shibori brand, Kirin Ichiban brand, the past efforts of marketing in consistent manner built brand value steadily for our Kirin Ichiban, we believe our brand is strong enough to withstand aggressive competition from other companies that started since the beginning of this year. I think we were able to grow strong brand in that way, and we will stay focused on implementing our strategy going forward.
Now, the functional beer products, Ichiban brand certainly has relevance to that. Now, in standard beer, functional beer segment, we are seeing expansion of the market of the beer itself, as well as the expansion of the functional beer because of more people looking toward wellness and health maintenance. Ichiban Zero Sugar will be renewed toward the second half of this year with enhanced or improved taste, as well as our communication efforts to achieve higher brand recognition. In order to enhance brand recognition, we're planning to have some large-scale drinking experience of this brand. This is a part of Ichiban brand to which we will continue our focused investment, especially to enhance brand awareness. Now, we also have to grow new growth engines. 2021, we focused on increasing subscribers for Home Tap, and we were able to enhance the craft market with addition of Hojun 496. The on-premise market is yet to recover fully, but customers came to recognize they can enjoy craft beer at home, and when the on-premise market comes up in recovery, they are likely to ask for something similar at restaurants. Enhancing profit of our on-premise customers would be important, and we can expand the profit pool of the entire industry by increasing the unit prices there. The craft beer category expanded by introduction and launch of Hojun 496 in 2021, but still this market accounts for only 1% of the entire market. So Spring Valley Hojun 496 still faces a challenge of brand recognition. As you can see on the left, once recognized, 56% of the people would try. And from that perspective, enhancing recognition is extremely important, and that's what we would like to focus on working on. Therefore, in the second half, since we are planning to launch new products, we will conduct some campaigns for tasting sessions to enhance brand awareness. Our aim for 2027 is for the beer market to have more than 4% of the craft beer segment, and Kirin would like to at least take half of that market. I've talked about this before. This is about Home Tap, about customer acquisition for Home Tap. The early adopter market has already saturated. Therefore, our next action would be to approach the next segment of consumers who are interested but still remain hesitant. At home appliances discounters, we have done some campaigns which resulted in a promising outcome. We will continue to validate our expansion strategy, and I hope we will get to the point where we can once again launch some expansion strategy later on. On the other hand, we have the retention strategy as well, because it is a subscription business, and some cancellation at one point in time is unavoidable. How many new customers we may acquire if the number of cancellation outnumbers the new subscriptions, we cannot expand the entire business. Therefore, In order to grow this business, we have to make sure we retain existing subscribers. Now, this is a form of a direct business, which has the benefit for us of being able to listen to our customers directly. If customers do not like the mannerism of being supplied with the same type of beer all the time, we can start offering different types of beer. So that's one example of a service improvement that we are implementing already. Now, lastly, I would like to discuss our initiatives for optimal SCM systems. Now, for beers and RTDs, we have to look at the prospect for the entire market, and we have run multiple simulations in terms of how we can solidify our supply chain and logistics. Currently, it so seems that we have the optimal production sites in terms of the numbers, as well as the distribution depots. We are experiencing the shortages of drivers, as well as the logistics cost hikes, which turned out to be one of the social challenges. And excessive consolidation, therefore, would only raise our risk. But of course, we are not sitting still and be content with what we have. We have to continue to study how we can further optimize our logistics in the areas of shifting categories, as well as using different forms and modes of transportation and so forth. Now, the logistic cost will continue to rise. That is well expected. So in order to contain such a rise in logistics, we have to leverage DX. At Sendai plant, we increased the number of RTD lines, which enabled the reduction of large number of trucks. So that's an example of leveraging data. We can reduce the waiting time for trucks. So cost reduction is one thing, but also such initiatives can help us address some social challenges. So today I shared with you our 3 initiatives, 3 priorities. Now, lastly, I would like to declare that over the next 3 years, we will stick to this idea of refine the brands and the people and achieve results. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hello, everyone. I am Minakata. I'm in charge of health science business. Now, from my area, I would like to give you the presentation on the progress in the health science domain and the strategy update. Now, first on the organization and what we want to achieve is the first area that we want to cover, and then PS plasma and next pipeline and mRNA strategy. And those are the topics that I want to cover. Now, first on health science area, what we want to be and the organizational structure. The COVID-19 raises the concern about the people's health, and the value chain and the material is now being expanded by the comprehensive manufacturers. On one hand, there are manufacturers who are concentrating on particular products. So as far as Kirin is concerned, we leverage our R&D capabilities and scale so that high-function products such as LC plasma can be produced to sell it in the form of drinks and others. And together with the evidence, we want to deliver our product into the hands of consumers. And that is our unique business model that we only can make. So what will be the business model that we want to the Kirin Hakko Bio's technology shall be used so that the material with a high evidence can be made into business of B2C and B2B correction. And then that will be used for B2C business as well as used by other companies in order to lead to individualized solution so that B2B and B2C and D2C those will be built based upon the material of ours. Now, LC plasma is now made into the provision into other companies' products based upon our evidence of supplement and drinks. And we are now seeing benefits of doing so already. So B2C and B2B, we know the linkage between the two, and by running, I think we can support the consumer's life itself as well as the immune system, so that we can deliver social value as well as contribution to the group corporate value. So that will be the business model. By running this strategy, or in order to run this strategy, we set up Health Science Division in April this year. So here you see Kyowa Hakko, Koiwai, and the Health Science Division. They will work together and to create synergy. So the organization should allow that to happen. The objectives of this organization is to execute a strategy at a very high level and to make speedy decision-making. And by doing so, we would like to accelerate growth of the business. Now, under Health Science Division, we have OPCOs and other divisions which are actually sharing the same floor in Nakano. And I am one who actually relocated there so that we can have a better communication. And I think we feel the speed of decision-making. That's what I feel as well. Now, health science future, the state of business. This is the midterm and long-term targets or plan. So we run this and organically, and also we do M&A to accelerate the growth. And also, as we discussed in February this year, new business KHB will be the main piece, meaning the CMO business over developing API. By doing all of that, we would like to steadily grow our business so that in the future, the size of the sales revenue will be 500 billion yen. Of course, what is more important is profitability whenever we do things. And also this year, I would like to talk about the plan for this year. Now, B2B drink and yogurt and supplement, by selling these products on year-on-year basis, plus 18% or 110 billion yen is the target for this year. We have a breakdown here. About a half is Kyowa Hakko Bio, at about 30 Kirin Beverage, and about 15% Koiwai, and about 10% is Health Science Business Division. So Kirin Holdings, 380% for Kirin Holdings. The mail order business was now relocated to Kirin Holdings, and that was a reason. But net of that, the supplement business, B2B business, plus 40% growth is going to be achieved. And for Kirin Beverage, plasma, LC plasma, if we extract the performance of the LC plasma alone, the performance target is to achieve 45% increase. Now, more specifically, Funkel and the synergy produced with Funkel, this is a part of organic growth. The work with the Funkel is doing very steadily. Joint development of products and the channel and infrastructure synergy. In this area, we are accelerating our initiatives. For Kirin, Funkel's technology used for drink and the supplement business experience of acquiring new customers, and also converting a new customer into regular subscriber customer. Those know-hows and technologies are being used by Kirin to deliver better results. And for Funko, Kirin's technology and material are being used for their cosmetic products as well as supplement products. So in this way, we are working both ways: synergy production, infrastructure synergy, supplement manufacturing is now done to Funko Beacon. And we have people exchange between the two entities for R&D, marketing, and sales. We have an exchange of people to share knowledge. So this year, we have these priorities. There are 3 of them. What is more important is LC Plasma to deliver result at early stage. And the specialty material should be grown. And we need to consider M&A possibilities. So we will run these 3 major priorities at the same time. Now, I would like to talk about LC Plasma from here page onward. So LC Plasma, what we need is to expand penetration or increase users, and also make habitualization or dig the market deeper. So B2C drink and B2B and food and B2C supplement. By using this, we are actually expanding users. And also, as you can see, Your Gold supplements, these are used to habitualize the intake by consumers. So those are the activities we are doing. So product portfolio needs to be expanded and enriched so that the stable product profit can be generated. Now, this is one of the examples. As you can see, in order to have a better penetration, we need to have more presence at the storefront. We do licensing out, and together with that product, LC Plasma Group products may have a better presence in the store, and that is one of the examples that we are winning now. Drinks and supplements. At the same time, maybe we can have them displayed on the shelves. And that's happening with the 5,000 stores at drugstores. And it says that the sales doubled after doing so. So those are the activities. And also last year, I would like to talk about the LC Plasma sales of last year once again. Drinks and supplements and licensing out. In each of the categories, we were able to grow our business. The overall on year basis, plus 63% was the performance achieved. Especially supplement expansion at the drugstore was one of the reasons for the growth, and also B2C channel of ours is also a contributor. As I said, Funko's knowledge was utilized very efficiently, and that was another reason. On this page, you see the LC Plasma's position in the immunology market. As you can see on the left, the immunology market overall is 680 billion yen, and the immunostimulant market, including food and supplements, is said to be 161 billion yen. So we are targeting to acquire market share in this area, especially in food segments. If you look at this on the right-hand side, LC Plasma, back in 2019, the market share was 3%, and it grew steadily ever since. And this year, although we haven't been able to show it, we are targeting to get 9% presence in the market. And so we are steadily growing our market share. That was the activities. And also, we have been trying to raise awareness of the product as well as function of the product, function of the material correction. 70% was the awareness rate of material, I think we are getting closer to our competitors. That 31% of the consumer know about the function of the material. So we will continue PR as well as sales promotion activities going forward in order to enhance these numbers. So this was used last year's Investors Day. 2027 LC Plasma plan is here. Remain unchanged. 50 billion yen in sales revenue is being targeted. Drink and yogurt will be the driver for the growth, which should account for more than 60% of the total target we have. Now, here onward, I would like to mention about R&D regarding LC Plasma. This is more like an academic research. This year, in March, there was a presentation by the expert in the doctors. The Nagasaki University and the National Institute of Infection did the presentation on their joint research on the defense function of the LC plasma vis-a-vis COVID-19 virus. And here you see the publication of the research for the publication for the experts of infectious disease, as well as a textbook for general clinical medicine. Our results are included. And in Vietnam, we worked with the Ministry of Health in Vietnam to do clinical study on elementary school students, the LC plasma drink group and the placebo group. You see the school days, absent days, as well as the health situation of the students was improved vis-a-vis control group. So LC plasma can prevent making the students' situation serious, as well as the prevention has been detected.
Here is another study about dengue. WHO's Tropical Disease Research Center is Malaya University, which is our partner. We have confirmed the LC plasma's function to contain symptoms of dengue. Now, let me talk about other pipelines, especially citicoline. Other than LC plasma, we are developing pipelines. Kyowa Hakobio has strength and fermentation methods, and their work will be essential. They have their own fermentation methods to develop functional materials to enhance our work toward solving social challenges. Kyowa Hakobio has unique technologies to generate targeted products. With their microbial design technologies, they also have high purity refining technologies, as well as technologies for scaling up productions. These strengths are combined to be able to come up with materials which are so difficult for our competitors to generate and produce. So let me now talk about citicoline, which I talked about last year as well. In North America, citicoline is sold as health food to enhance memory and concentration. Aging population certainly increases need for that materials because memory and concentration enhancement also comes from our younger generation as needs. The overall market is expanding and is expected to expand gradually. Kyowa Hakobio, through evidence, aims to expand its market in the US. In order to obtain new pieces of evidence, last year, we conducted a clinical trial over healthy adults to prove the effectiveness of citicoline to reduce memory losses due to aging. We will continue to collect such evidence to enhance our sales. Citicoline is produced in our Yamaguchi plant. In 2020 and 2021, we stopped production, but now we are ready to increase the production. Let me now talk about HMO. HMO is a very important nutrient for babies. Baby formulas can offer HMO to babies, and that would be a great value. Recently, we have seen so many studies about HMO and finding very good functions. Going forward, HMO can be adopted by products for adults. Now, formula milk market is expanding in the world, including the ones which include HMOs. And actually, as you can see in this graph, more products are adopting HMO. HMO growth will be 20 to 30%, especially in Asia. We can expect a larger growth. This is about how to enhance our organization. Kirin Hakobio has fermentation technology, which has to be leveraged in order to communicate the value of the materials. Kirin Holdings and Kyowa Hakobio's R&D divisions as well as sales are connected by establishing a scientific marketing team where value-added information can be shared and eventually delivered to our customers. Now, lastly, here is our M&A strategy for achieving non-linear growth. I talked about the Kirin-specific health and science business model, which requires organic connection of B2B and other parts of the business. Through acquisitions, we have to acquire capabilities which we do not have in-house. Our acquisition strategies can come in three pillars. Number one, by B2C business acquisition to build or acquire highly trustworthy brands. And the second is B2B value creation and business expansion to leverage fermentation and biotechnologies. And number three would be the area of platforming to connect the two. So these are the three pillars of possibilities for future acquisitions. By acquiring assets and capabilities, we target to attain faster growth for health and science business. As we make investment, Kirin Holdings portfolio has to be looked at for alignment as well as ROI and possibility of high growth and profitability have to be validated before we make such acquisitions going forward. With this, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much for attention.